Welcome to the next session, that is asexual reproduction. In that, vegetative propagation, underground stems, subaerial stems, already finished. So in that subaerial stems, offsets. Lastly, we discussed offsets. So offsets topic also finished. So offsets are one internode long runners. One internode long runners. See, it is a node. So above the water, like that, top leaves arises. Below the water, root-like structures, adventitious roots are formed. Okay, so these are called offsets. So offsets, in these offsets, in these one internode long runners. It is internode. This internode is long runner. One internode long runner. One internode long runner. Okay. See here, it is a node. Same like that. Like this. Like this. One internode long runners. Above the surface of water, tuft of leaves. Below the water, number of root-like structures are called. These are called offsets. Example, Eichhornia. Eichhornia. It is also called water hyacinth. Up to this much finished. Here, one important question they will ask about 2 marks. Why was water hyacinth is called terror of the Bengal? It is the 2 marks question or 3 marks question. If they will ask about 2 marks question, if you write little enough. If they ask about 3 marks question, the same question, the same answer, little bit you have to expand. So see here, why was water hyacinth? This is called water hyacinth. Scientific name of Eichhornia, water hyacinth. Why was water hyacinth is called terror of the Bengal? This is the question. Explanation. See, water hyacinth plant. It is normally grows in aquatic habitat. Aquatic. This is the plant grows in aquatic habitats. Aquatic habitats. Water hyacinth, it is normally grows in aquatic habitats such as rivers and ponds. Rivers, ponds are in stagnant waters. Where is the water stagnant? In those places, water hyacinth plants grows. Actually, this plant is not belongs to our country. It is imported from other places, from other countries to our country because of its beautiful color and shape of leaves. So generally, diagram like this way given. If we will see this is really the shape of the Eichhornia leaves color, we will feel happiness. For aesthetic sense, for beauty of its color and shape of leaves, some people in earlier days they have imported from another countries to our country. Okay, but it can be propagated vegetatively very rapidly by one internode long runners called offsets. Okay, so it can be vegetatively propagated very rapidly. Those are called one internode long runners called offsets. But it is very difficult to control them. Their growth is very difficult to control because within a short span of life, quickly it can be propagated. See, if a leaf is cut, if this part is cut, if this part is cut, if this part is cut, where it will fall? From there, it can germinate and again gives rise to new tuft of leaves. Above the surface of water, leaves below the water, adventitious roots are formed. It can be spread very rapidly in a phenomenal rate. Sequentially, it can be spread very rapidly in aquatic habitats such as rivers and ponds. Within a short span of life, their propagation spread huge surface area. In such cases, in aquatic habitats, if it is spread longer area and rapidly, it will absorb more and more oxygen, water, nutrients, etc. from that aquatic habitats. So in the water, in the aquatic habitats, in the rivers and ponds, so the oxygen is available in dissolved state. Some amount of nutrients also available in dissolved state. Those nutrients and the oxygen, these are all absorbed by these water hyacinth plants. Whatever may be the oxygen and the nutrients are there, those are all the oxygen and nutrients are absolutely absorbed by only this plant, water hyacinth. In such cases, other aquatic animals will face damage due to lack of oxygen and nutrients. Other aquatic animals, that may be fishes, prawns, or other zooplanktons and other microorganisms and animals will face a problem for oxygen. Due to lack of oxygen, those organisms are died. And also, it is very difficult to get rid of their vegetative propagation in aquatic habitats. These plants will create a big havoc in aquatic habitats. That's why this plant is called terror of the Bengal. Water hyacinth is called terror of Bengal because it creates a big havoc in aquatic habitats. It can be spread very rapidly within a short span of life. So that much huge population will absorb more and more oxygen, nutrients, etc., etc. That's all. Due to that, other aquatic animals will face damage. Okay, that's why it is called terror of the Bengal. It is very, very important question. Okay, that's all. Next, vegetative propagation by leaves. Vegetative propagation by leaves or leaves. See here, certain plants like bryophyllum, kalanko, kalanko, kalanko. Certain plants like bryophyllum and kalanko, they produces number of small buds at their margins. These two plant leaves can produce number of small buds at their leaf margins. Those buds are called epiphyllous buds. Those buds are called epiphyllous buds. Those epiphyllous buds above the surface, number of small leaves are formed. Below the ground, towards the soil, adventitious roots are formed. Such type of buds are called epiphyllous buds. If those epiphyllous buds are cut and keep it in the soil, those will be grown as a new individual plants. Okay, here this is one kind of a vegetative propagation. Day before yesterday we discussed that natural methods of vegetative propagation is of three types. One is root cuttings, finished. Second one is stem cuttings. Stem cuttings are two types. Sorry, underground stems. Okay, natural methods of vegetative propagation, three: roots, stems, leaves. So day before yesterday, underground stem, subaerial stem is finished. Very first as root finished. This is vegetative propagation by leaf. Okay, see that plant leaf surface I am drawing diagram. Like that. This is the leaf. See here, these are margins. Bryophyllum and Kalanke, these plant leaves produces number of buds at their margins. See, here one bud is formed, bud, at their margins. See here, buds. Like this way. So it is bud. This bud consists of one or two leaves. Above leaves, below roots. Like this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buds are formed. Like this way here. Buds like this. Buds. If this bud is cut, and keep it in soil, that will be grown as a new individual. That is called epiphyllous buds. These buds are called epiphyllous buds. This is one. Next, walking fern. Vegetative propagation by leaf. Another example is walking fern. That is also called adiantum. Walking fern. That is also called adiantum. See here, adiantum. This is the soil. This is walking fern or adiantum plant. See, it has leaves like this way. Like this way leaves. So when this leaf like this way grows and comes in contact with the soil, here it can produce adventitious buds below the ground. So from this above the ground, one more leaf is formed. When this leaf comes in contact with soil it is below the ground, it produces number of bud roots. So above one more leaf like this way. Same here like this way, like this way. In such a way, it can be continued. That is why adiantum is also called walking fern. When adiantum, the leaf comes in contact with soil, where it can comes in contact with soil, it can be produces adventitious buds. These buds gradually turn to be roots, and from here one leaf is formed. So when this leaf is grown, and one day it will be comes in contact with soil. Like this way, it can produce a number of new plants. So accidentally, it will cut. It will cut. It will grow as a new individual plant. It will grow as a new individual plant. It will grow as a new individual plant. In such a way, it will be walk for several kilometers. That is why it is called walking fern. Okay, this is called vegetative propagation by leaves. Next topic. Vegetative propagation by bulbils. Vegetative propagation by bulbils. See, in this one, bulbil. Some plants like agave. The plant agave is also called century plant. Century plant. The plant agave is also called century plant. So the century plant diagram see like this way. Below the ground, the root system is common, it is present. It is a stem. Here, branch, side branch will grow. So, in this floral bud, the floral bud, in certain plants like agave and century plant, the floral bud swollen with food material. The floral bud swollen with food material. So when certain amount of food material is stored, it is shows bulb-like structure, bulb-like structure. So after certain growth, it is drop off. It is drop off and fall on the ground. When it is drop off on the ground, there it will be germinated and again gives new plant, new agave plant or century plant. In these plants, floral bud, floral means bud, floral means flower bud. The flower bud swollen with reserved food material. After certain growth, it is a drop off and germinated where it is drop off or fallen off. Okay, that's all. So this is called vegetative propagation by bulbings. Okay, that's all. Next topic. See, we discussed that vegetative propagation is of two types. Natural methods of vegetative propagation, artificial methods of vegetative propagation. Natural method of vegetative propagation with this finished. Next we will see artificial methods of vegetative propagation. See here, artificial methods of vegetative propagation. Artificial methods of vegetative propagation. See, since vegetative propagation gives rise to identical offsprings, since vegetative propagation can give rise to identical offsprings, generally the vegetative propagation has huge advantage to the agricultural farmers because within a short span of life it can be produces a number of thousands of identical offsprings. Identical offsprings. Offsprings means what? New individuals. Here in this session, artificial methods of vegetative propagation is of three types. One is cuttings. Second one is layering. And third one is grafting. These three. So here let's see cuttings. So cuttings. So the term cuttings refers to a short length of plant from the parental plants. Those are called cuttings. A short length of stem or root or leaves from the parental plant is called cuttings. Generally, cuttings are again three types. Those are root cuttings, stem cuttings, leaf cuttings. First of all, root cuttings. Certain plants, root is cut from the parental plant. See here, it is the root. Above the ground, stem is growing on. Actually, here normally leaflets will be there. Leaflets commonly will be there. Leaflets will be there. See, this is the main root, primary root. It gives rise to several other roots. These are called secondary roots. Secondary roots. Our heading is root cuttings. So the root, if this part is cut, whatever may be the lateral root is raised. This root, if we cut, that cut part, if we keep it in the damp soil, moist soil, it will grow as a new individual plant. See, this root, we have to bring and keep it in vertically. Like this way, if we will keep it in the soil, damp soil, it can give rise to, below the ground, it can give rise to new roots. Above the ground, slowly, it can use leaves. These are called root cuttings. The word itself saying the significance, root cuttings. The root, the part from the parental part, root we will cut off. The cut part we will sown in the soil. It will grow as a new individual. So this plant is identical to the parental plant. This is called root cuttings. Next, stem cuttings. See, this plant is growing on. A side stem was there. A side branch is growing on. This is called stem cuttings. So this stem consists of leaves commonly. Leaves, commonly it contains leaves. Okay, so this part we have to cut. From the parental plant, this is it. We will cut it. So here we will cut off this part from the parental plant. We will take it and keep it in the soil. If we will keep it in the soil, below the ground, it can give rise to roots. Above the ground, already leaves are there. It will grow as a new individual. Like this way, we will make it produce new plants. Or else in some plants like China rose flower plant, or lemon plant, like that, different plant stems. We may dip in the root inducing hormones, root inducing hormones such as naphthalene acetic acid, indole butyric acid. So these two are root inducing hormones. When we will dip this stem in the root inducing hormones, such kind of stems quickly produce roots. So these stems quickly produces roots below the ground. Okay, that is called stem cuttings. Root cuttings, stem cuttings. So in the same way, leaf cuttings. Leaf cutting also very simple. Leaf cuttings also very simple. What is that leaf cutting? This is leaf. So certain plants that may be kalanke, bryophyllum, or rubber plant, or blackberry, or strawberry, some plants like that. Okay, so those plant leaf surface. This is called leaf surface. Leaf surface. These are also called notches. Notches means edges. From these edges, buds are formed. Small buds are formed. Okay, so where exactly buds are there? In that particular place, if we will cut into one or many pieces. If this leaf is cut into one or many parts. So each part must having at least one bud. So here 1, 2, 3, 4. It is one piece. It is one piece. It is one piece. The leaf must be cut horizontally, one or more pieces. But each piece must have at least one bud. Okay, so whatever may be the cut part, this cut part, if we keep it in the soil, it can give rise roots below the ground, leaflets above the ground. Okay, that is called leaf cuttings. Okay, leaf cuttings example, rubber plant, croton plant, or else bryophyllum kalanke, already we discussed that, etc. Okay, that's all. Like this way, it is called cuttings. Layering. layering. See here, layering in this one. From one side, the parental plant is growing. Layering is referred, the parental plant as usually grows. It is parental plant is growing. The parental plant is growing nicely, healthy. So the parental plant is effectively growing in the soil. So from parental plant, any branch, from the parental plant, any branch, we have to bend near the ground. We have to bend near the ground like this way. Okay, so up to soil. This is soil. So the branch which is growing effectively, such a branch we have to take. That branch we have to bend down. We have to bend down. So before bending this is, so here bark, a little bark we have to remove. See, this is the stem. On that stem, little bit of bark will be there. That bark we have to remove with knife. So here we have to remove bark. We have to remove bark and keep below the ground. And here we have to put a stone. We have to put some weighted stone on that branch, or otherwise it will come to its original place. To prevent that, we have to keep some force on that branch. This is called layering. This is called layering. Okay, after some days, so from this cut part, it will produce this number of roots. Number of roots. So number of roots. Okay, huge adventitious roots are formed. So here actually it will grow. Leaves are there. Actually leaves will be there. These are all leaves are there. When sufficient roots are arising from this place. Okay, that's all. That is called layering. So layering, in this one what? The parental plant will grow effectively. From the parent plant, one branch we have to take it. That branch we have to bend towards the soil and keep a force on that branch. So before bending this branch and keeping the stone on that, so here we have to remove some amount of bark. Then, so this white part will be appeared. Generally stem, either sides of the stem, there is a bark will be there. That bark we have to remove with knife and keep it below the ground or above the ground. So if you not keep any weight stone, it will come back to their original position, because this branch is growing like this way. So that branch we have brought and keeping on the ground. If you would not keep any weight, it will come back to their back. That's why if you will keep weight, this branch will be remains associated with soil. So the part where we cut, from that part, it can produce a number of roots. Okay, so this branch actually will grow above the ground. Okay, so when sufficient roots are formed, we can cut it. We can cut it and it will keep it in another place. Or else, if you will take it and keep it in potted plant, it will grow as usually, it will grow as a new individual plant. This is called layering. This is called layering. Okay, that's all. Next, grafting. So grafting. Grafting, it refers to, it is a technique in which transferring one plant to the another plant. That is called grafting. Listen carefully. So grafting is a technique in which transplanting or transferring one plant from another species to another species. That phenomenon is called grafting. See, here this plant is growing effectively. Here branches are there, number of branches are there. These are all the branches. These are all branches. These are all branches. Okay, so this branch we have to transfer to another plant. The technique is called grafting. See, here one plant is growing below the ground. Here one plant is growing below the ground. Root system is there. Grafting, it is the technique in which transferring one plant to another plant. This technique is called grafting. Okay, so this is the plant is a superior plant. Superior plant, it is growing very effectively. It is the plant also superior plant and it is a disease resistant variety. Okay, from this plant, we will take one stem. We cut this stem up to here. Up to here we cut. So this cut part we have brought and keep it in this place. Like this way, we cut this plant. Is the plant growing effectively in the soil? One superior plant stem we have taken. That stem, like this way we cut and bring it. Keep it aside. Next, one another healthy plant you take it and make a hole like this way. Hole like this way. After making hole like this way, this is you bring and insert in this one. This is you bring and insert like this way. Insert. This technique is called grafting. Now once again I am saying the definition. Transplanting or transferring one plant from another species to another plant. This technique is called grafting. In this one, it is a confusion definition. Simple definition now I will say. So the plant which is growing on another place, from that plant we have taken one branch. That branch is called scion. Already growing plant, already from many days growing plant. This is called stalk. This is called grafting. Now correct definition I will say, see. Transferring a part of a stem from another plant, scion, to another plant, that is stalk. This technique is called grafting. Okay, so two definitions you have to learn. Okay, scion, transferring scion to the stalk is called grafting. It is simple definition, but from that onwards we have to learn. So transferring, it is a technique in which transferring superior part of another plant to disease resistant variety of another plant is called grafting. From one plant to another plant, what? So the part of the plant, the part or the stem from which plant we have taken, that is called scion. The scion is transferred to another plant, that is called stalk. When scion is inserted on the stalk, these two will grow as a one plant. So this scion receives water, minerals, nutrients from this plant. How? So when we cut here, this stem cambium, and when we make a hole, this stem cambium, both are connected with each other, like this way connected with each other. Then from this plant, so this plant, scion collects, scion, this is the scion collects nutrients from the stalk. It will grow as a new individual. This is called grafting.